Watch him in the zone, don't let him go. He's going to score a belter. Nicholas Gay scores home and away. This is A View from the Bridge, official podcast of the Belfast Giants for kingdomofthegiants.com. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's Tuesday the 17th of March 2026. My name is a very happy Patrick Smith. I'm joined by the Belfast Giants statistician and the man you might have seen on the bench this past weekend, Mr. David McJimsey, and down below me, the local hockey legend that is Simon Kitchen. Over the next hour or so, we'll begin bringing you all the news and views of the Belfast Giants, the league-leading Belfast Giants, and the Elite Ice Hockey League. If you're watching live on YouTube, X, Facebook, you can drop us a comment. You might see it on screen, or you can subscribe to us on all the good podcast providers. On this week's show, well, it was a 4-point weekend for the Belfast Giants, but they got, 6 points closer to an Elite League, retaining the Elite League title, given the defeat to the Nottingham Panthers over the weekend. We'll be talking all about that and having a good laugh about it as well. We'll be joined by a man who joined the Belfast Giants only a few weeks ago and got his first goal over the weekend. That is Ben Freeman. We might be popped by Mr. David Phillips for a bit of a chat to talk about the Steel Dogs getting the National Cup. Where are we with the Jonathan Boxill thing? Is he... Yeah, we're on for Johnny. We're on for Boxy. Boxy will be popping along as well. Looking forward to chatting to him. You can subscribe to us, like us, do all the sort of things. We love a bit of feedback, so we do, don't we, David?
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you?
I'm tired, but in good form.
What do you think of my song?
That's like each their own, mate. Some people will love that. Some people like me think it's tragic, but okay.
Big thanks to Dan Kendall for sharing that one. I quite enjoyed that. He also gave me another one, which we'll save for another day. Says how you doing, mate?
An after 9 o'clock one.
we could come up with
of course, it is after 9 o'clock.
It is after 9 o'clock. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It is 9 minutes past 9 o'clock. Simon, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm actually surprised that you've learned all those words in that short space of time and didn't miss a trick with it. Like, very impressive.
Been humming it all day, mate.
You'll be applying for the, what do you call it? Britain's Got Talent soon, for goodness sake.
Ireland's Got Talent, you mean? Anyway, let's crack on.
I'll give you that because it's St. Patrick's Day.
It is St. Patrick's Day. I've got my Notre Dame shirt on. For St. Patrick's Day. Let's crack on with these two games, David.
don't let me break the pretense of this on you.
You're just sort of holding on there, aren't you, mate? You're just holding on to it. The Belfast Giants had two games over in Yorkshire against the Sheffield Steelers. A top of the table clash, probably one that the Sheffield Steelers needed to get both wins, and they got neither. 8 goals over the weekend for the Belfast Giants, 1 goal for the Sheffield Steelers. Let's start with that first game on Saturday, a shutout win for Jake Kupski in nets and the Belfast Giants. Let's hear from the coaches.
Yeah, I mean, obviously not the result we wanted here tonight. I actually can't fault the first 20 minutes that we played. I thought we were on it. We were desperate. I think we outchanced them 9-1 in the first, and we're down 1-0 after the first period. Pushed back to start the second. I felt like too early, and then they go up 2-0, and then about the 30-minute mark, it felt like just the wind fell out of our sails, and just looked like we were going through the motions, feeling sorry for ourselves at that point of the game, and that you get the end result there. The last 30 minutes, which, not a lot of passion or energy, desperation in our game, and pretty tough one to swallow. I mean, from a defensive side of the game, I think we only gave up 14 shots tonight, and it just seemed like every mistake we made ended up in the back of our net, and, there was some really positive play early in that hockey game, and we just didn't get rewarded. Hit a couple post crossbars, had some really good looks, and just couldn't find the net to find some momentum and get some life into the building tonight. And and then that's deflating. Like I said, we played some spirited hockey the last 5 weeks to put ourselves in a position to hopefully claw back this weekend. And after things didn't go our way early, it looked like we felt sorry for ourselves and kind of gave up a little bit, which is a little bit disheartening as a coach.
and it seemed like there were some timely scoring when the big moments came and the saves came and the shots off the bar. The Giants went down the end and made the Steelers pay.
Yeah, I mean, you look back, I mean, obviously giving up a breakaway to Mitchell Balmas, leading scorer of the league, is not ideal. And we gave up, arguably 1.5 with him tonight, and Copper was huge for that, right? And then I think you guys dung a couple off the bar there that could have went the other way, and, the game changes. But, fortunate for us, Copper was big, and they hit the bar and went out and not in. And we had the opportunities we got. We were clinical, and then that obviously built our lead well there, and I thought we managed the third period, like I said, very well. Some big kills. Obviously, you guys had some big kills as well. Obviously, it's a very big 2 points for us. We're going to enjoy it, but we got to calm down. We have to do it all over again tomorrow, right? And we know that Sheffield's going to come hard, so we have to be ready.
You had Jackson Whistle back on the bench for the first time in a month. Is he ready to get some game action, or is he still a little further away?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's battling hard for, that opportunity to get back in. Obviously, he's probably not 100%. I don't think many guys are 100% at this stage, but it was really nice to have him in the dressing room on the bench. Obviously, he's a massive part of the reason we are where we are, so it was really nice to get him back on the bench to be a part of it and help support the group, and I thought he did a great job tonight too.
And tomorrow, the same team again, but I'm sure it'll be a different type of Sheffield Steelers performance. How will you counter that?
We got to worry about ourselves. We have to be better than we were tonight, to be honest with you. I thought, like I said, it could have been a different game after that first period had you guys scored on your opportunities and we didn't score on ours, right? So we're going to enjoy it. Obviously, it's a big 2 points for us, especially considering the day we had. But we want to be better tomorrow and have a better performance.
All the goals came for the Belfast Giants. Jordan Karaguchi, Carson Twinsky, our guest tonight, Ben Freeman, and home and away scores Nicholas Gay. The goalkeepers were Matthew Greenfield for the Sheffield Steelers, Jake Kupski with a shutout for the Belfast Giants. The referees were Tom Perring and Daniel Ferguson. Davy, start with you. Both coaches absolutely right in what they said, and I felt it myself that certainly in the first 10 minutes, it was all Sheffield Steelers on Saturday. In the first 10, I don't think we even got if we got one shot in those first 10 minutes, I'm surprised, because we were penned back in. We were really struggling. They had Mitchell Balmas coming up, and the league's top scorer, with a breakaway shot that Kupski was able to pad away. But once the Giants got ahead, then we just drew. It felt, and you heard as well from Aaron Fox, they just basically fell apart.
It sucked the life out of the arena as well. Big crowd in there, expectations high, their season effectively on the line. Nothing's done, as we've discussed as well, but it was a big step away from them in terms of getting 4 points further away from the rankings. Big 8-point swing. Aaron Fox was on to brought up a 16-point swing in games versus us this season. He felt it could have gone differently. So they were always going to come out fast, throw everything at us, that everything was on the line for them. And a combination of some brilliant saves from Copper and from Jakubski and from some brilliant blocks from D-Man and a lot of buy-in from the forwards as well. We managed to keep them out of the net, and we were opportunistic. We've talked about other teams being opportunistic against us over the last few weeks, and I felt that when the opportunities came our way over the weekend, we took them well. And once that building got shut down, like talk about the Kyle Bonner Arena from previous days, like the place was. Certainly felt very quiet on the night, apart from the Giants fans going at it in the corner there. And there's a big turning point in the game as well there. A massive leg save there from Jakubski and the D-men there to help them out. But I thought once we had got ahead, Simon will come on to say his piece, but I thought we were pretty good, controlled all three zones in the rest of the game, and really shut them down well in the third period.
The urgency from both teams was quite apparent through the game, Simon, and not just for the Belfast Giants wanting to get this win and wanting to sort of solidify their spot at the top of the Elite League, but you also saw from the Sheffield Steelers, certainly immediately in this game, as we said, you saw the Sheffield Steelers, the fact that they were well aware that this is their league season. These two games are their league season.
Yeah, I mean, when you log on to the start of the pod, the webcast, and you hear Ron Shudra get off and basically saying Belfast are under all the pressure here, and the Steelers. I said this last week or maybe the week before about Aaron Fox playing Kevin Keegan. Moments from 1996 or 97, whatever it was, when Newcastle were going to win the league, and I would love it if we beat them. Love it. But they played really well, especially in the opening period. They had big chances, and Cupper came up huge for us. And it's Cupper makes the saves, but the boys defensively as a unit performed really, really well all weekend. And to be honest, I thought both games were very, very similar. I mean, they came out on Saturday with, they had a number of grade A chances. And obviously that big save on Balmas was absolutely huge. You get that opportunity there to just go ahead, and it's a huge save by Cupper, and we go down the other end about 11 minutes in and get the first goal of the game. I actually think it was our first shot, maybe our second shot of the game itself, and we were sucking all the pressure up. But at no point, when you're watching hockey, and whether you're in the arena or whether you're in on TV, at no point did I feel that we weren't going to win the games. I watched the practice on Friday at Dundonald, and I remember saying to Adam and Nace, we look really good. We look really, really good. The boys look up for it. If we played like this tomorrow night, we've got a real chance. And we did. We just carried on from practice on the Friday. I've told you before, our practices are really intense. When you've got people like Scott Conway and you've got people like David Gubin and Jake Gaudette, they all want to win at whatever they're doing. And they bring that in practice, and it makes teams better. It makes you better. We were fantastic with regards to defensively on Saturday night. We thought as a unit we performed and did exactly what Adam wanted us to do. And to come out and obviously just take the moments. What was it, Davey? Was it 17 shots in total we had on Saturday?
18.
18
well, 17,
shots.
18 yeah.
17 shots, and you've got those opportunities, and you score 4 goals, which then gives, Matt Greenfield 75% save rate. That ain't good enough. He was the best goalie in the league 2 years ago. He's not the best goalie in the league right now, and I thought they would have put up more of a fight, but Davey just made a really good comment. We sucked the energy out of the arena, which is great to see. And we our game management both on Saturday and Sunday was excellent. And I thought we controlled the play. We dictated the play to them. Yes, you all they're going to have opportunities, of course you do. But Cupper was fantastic all weekend.
Sensational.
And
he was.
Jackson's been back on the ice for a while, but right now it's Jake Kupski's net to give up. You've got to go with a hot hand, and Jake Kupski has been fantastic and thoroughly deserved the win. But the whole team, I thought, did very, very well, and great performance by. See, when you get your fourth line getting the big goal on the first game, and then they coming up on the second night, the game winner. What a move by Longer again, and then big Ben Freeman with a great pass across for the game winner.
Come on to that. Yeah.
Listen, that if you'd have given me 2 points on Friday morning or Saturday morning, especially after the way Saturday started with the flight being delayed by 6 hours, if you'd have given me 2 points, I'd have bitten your arm off. Getting 4 off them, TBHSNM. Too bad. How sad.
Never mind. I'll pause this here because I just wanted it got to this. This is the second goal of Saturday, which was Irwin to Whistle and then Whistle across to Tawinski. This one and the Ben Freeman one where Long strips the puck and is able to find Tawinski, who snipes it into the net, which is a lovely finish. We'll talk to Ben in a bit, but like this goal that for those who are watching on sort of summed up the Sheffield Steelers for me. It's in like there was a ghost of a defense. You've got Whistle, who's done really hard work, gets to the line, and you've got Tawinski driving the net and nobody anywhere near him, nobody in front of him, and he just has to tap it through the 5-hole of Matt Greenfield. Same with regards to the brilliant move from Kieran Long on the third goal to basically strip the puck, pass it out to Ben Freeman, and Freeman just looks at Greenfield and picks the spot. Brilliant play, which is a mixture, Davy, of both the Giants' brilliance and a pretty abject performance. It seemed I'll take it from Aaron Fox himself. He sort of like, there was a bit, their mentality once they went goal behind, it was like it was made out of biscuits.
Brilliant. I'd rather focus, Paddy, if you don't mind, on the brilliance then of the Giants absolutely, rather than the lacklusterness of the Steelers there. It's a lovely little bank play off the boards by Brandon Whistle. Drops his shoulder, goes around the outside, and just that hard pass across the crease. It goes through one D-man, and the other D-man's not really tracking Carson very well. And sticking the ice, as Aaron Murphy would say, keep your stick in your ice and your head up, and it's in the back of the net. And then, of course, you came on to talk about that snipe. Carson doing a lot of hard work down the boards, followed by Longer, and then to Ben, and an absolute snipe. It's going to come up here in a wee minute, but there's the one off the bar. Little inches change things in hockey, and as Simon said, they're a really hard day for the boys in travel, getting to the rink just about not much more than an hour before face-off, having to get turned around in 20 minutes to get themselves out on the ice for a warm-up, and didn't have time for regular warm-ups or probably regular eating times and regular drinking times and all that. So for them to come out and do what they did, demolish the team that were sitting second in their home rink with a full sold-out crowd, 4-0, there's the goal there. It's an absolute beauty. Like, it was so good. And it just came at a perfect time as well. And it completely put the game to bed at that stage. That's only second period there. And then we were able to come out and manage the clock and manage the zones in the third period. I thought we were great.
And again,
sorry, Paddy, just on the travel on Saturday morning, a massive thank you to the team in the Aspire lounge at Belfast City Airport. They looked after the guys fantastically well. I mean, they were in there for nearly 5 hours, and they couldn't have done enough for them. And it was a big when you're sitting about in the airport in those really comfortable seats, just in with the normal plebs, it's not nice. But the Aspire coming out and giving us the opportunity to get the whole team and keeping everybody together. Thanks to Dawn and Heather and everybody at the city airport. It was absolutely fantastic.
Small unknown fact, I fitted that Aspire lounge out. We assisted Davy on that one, sis.
Thanks, Davy.
Big thanks to Dave. Did you physically put the stuff in there, David?
I physically put some stuff in. I carried stuff up and down the stairs, but I was responsible for the financial sides of it.
Fun fact, so did I.
What? Did you help me?
Yes, I did.
When?
Delivery.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right, man. We'll not talk about that delivery.
From what you said back then, it was a big help. So you're welcome.
We'll not talk about that delivery.
Fun fact: the redevelopment of that whole airport was headed up by one of my uni mates. Does that count? No. Done. Right. Nicholas again. There's Nicholas. Those watching, there's Nicholas Gay with the fourth goal, and again just sort of skates around the outside of the D. Nobody's sort of doing anything with him. He's finding the space and he's able to put it in the back of the net. This is just there's 2 D men there. Nothing. See you later. Back of the net. Ghosts.
I did see a post that Sheffield was on Twitter. I think Sheffield had a lot of road cones on Saturday night, but I couldn't find an app and a good enough photograph for it, so just forgot about it.
Brilliant. And just to bring up what you said, Ron shoot at the start of the game, basically in the preamble, you mentioned it there, Simon, saying that the pressure was on the Belfast Giants, who, if they want to retain the Elite League title, cannot lose a game. They cannot afford to lose a game. I don't know what statistics. We don't want to lose a game, but can we afford to lose a game? Yes, we can. We don't want to, or we shouldn't do. But I don't know where he's sort of getting those statistics to sort of suggest that the Belfast Giants have put themselves in a remarkable position in regard to looking to retain this Elite League title, and should be respected for it. Right, let's just go ahead to Sunday. Belfast Giants winning this one with 4 goals, but Sheffield actually got one and they went ahead. Let's hear from the coaches.
Yeah, that's huge. Certainly, you look at a doubleheader in Sheffield on the fixtures list, and you probably don't think you're getting 2 there. So for the guys to come in, and certainly, especially with what's on the line here, this business end of the year for our guys to come in here and be committed and fully present and focused on the bench. I thought that was the biggest thing this weekend. I thought everybody was kind of pulling the rope, saying the right things and doing the right things. Certainly if you look at that way that game started, Sheffield come out and overwhelmed us there and they get one. Things can turn on you pretty quickly, but I thought Cupper did a good job kind of keeping us calm. We get one there at the end of the first period, and I think that's a big one for us because, it's a little frustrating probably for Sheffield going into period break there. And then we build a lead in the second period. And I thought from that point, we managed the game quite well. I thought our third period was textbook. We didn't give them very much at all, probably frustrated them. I've been on the flip side of that. It is frustrating when you have to keep forechecking and icing pucks, and it's when you're trying to come back, that's frustrating. So extremely proud of our guys. I thought that was a business weekend for them. They come in here late yesterday, get the job done, turn up here and get the job done again here, and we're flying out of here and going home in bed by 12.
Yeah, it's almost actually a carbon copy of yesterday's game. I thought we played very well in the first period. All 20 guys bought in and were playing the right way and had some jam and life. And again, you give up a late goal there at the end of the first, and then you kind of come out for the second. And again, that team makes you earn everything. There's got to be a willingness to get to the inside and play through how aggressive they are and how physical they are. They box out, they're aggressive at the blue lines, they make you earn everything. And again, half our group lost that will to do that tonight. And when you don't have everyone going, all it takes is a guy here and a guy there on each line to, you're playing short in those situations. So frustrating and disappointed that, 2-1 hockey game there. I felt like there should have been a push and there should have been some fight that, to put us in a position to claw back into that hockey game, because it was only a one-shot hockey game. But again, it just... You need more from certain guys, and it can't be the same guys every night. And when you put together your structure and your systems, it's everything's a 5-man job, and you need everyone pulling the rope the same way. And if everyone's not, then it makes the game look very difficult, which I felt like it did the last 25-30 minutes again tonight.
Sheffield Steelers got the opening goal in this game from Mitchell Balmus, but then Belfast Giants were able to level it up towards the end of the first period by Rand Smith. Nicholas Gay scores home and away. He got the second one, 23-50, and then 2 empty net goals, one from JJ Picanich on 50-27, and Rand Smith with the second of the game, 59-11, made it 4-1 to the Belfast Giants. Jake Kupski in nets for the Belfast Giants, and despite what David Sims thought in the arena, it was actually Eamon McAdam who was in nets for the Sheffield Steelers. Referees were Joe Sewell and Tom Perring. You heard it there, Simon, from both of them. It was more or less a carbon copy of the night before. Sheffield come out, they play well on the open exchanges, they get the goal to go ahead, but that mentality is not there for them.
Yeah, that's all she wrote. You were expecting a kickback from them, in front of 8,000 people on Saturday night, and I think it was what's that?
Yeah, decided to go ahead. Yeah, exactly.
8,000 people on Saturday night, 8,000 people on Sunday night. Watching the biggest indoor sport in the UK, and their home team doesn't turn up all weekend. That's the only sort of positive they've got to get from that weekend. But we just mentioned there a few minutes ago when we were talking about the Saturday game. You can say all what you want about the Steelers. They are a good team. Make no mistake about it. However, we controlled the weekend. We're a really good team. We're you sit at the top of the table, whether you're Belfast Giants or whether you're Cardiff Devils or whatever it is, and whoever finishes at the top deserves to be at the top. It's that simple. We deserve to be where we are right now because of the unity that we've had throughout the season, and you basically coming out and you're turning up when big games happen, and the Steelers did not turn up this weekend. Somebody had said to me that again, I didn't watch the Sunday game until afterwards. I watched it back on not last night, not Monday night, but the night before. But when I watched it back again, even when you were 1-0 down, I didn't feel that we were under that great of pressure. I thought we controlled and managed the game really, really well.
I agree.
We took our opportunities. You know, you got to really, when you get that late goal in the first period, you know, a minute to go or so, whatever it was, and Smitty basically snipes a top corner, and then you know this play here from Big Ben, you know, right on the tape, and Nick Gay donners around McAdams if he's not there. You know, another traffic cone. Fantastic goal, fantastic effort, both from Longer and Ben, and then a great finish from Geyser. So that's a game-winning goal. That's a 4-point weekend, and you know, the boys would have enjoyed Sunday night flight home for sure.
And the celebration, somebody pointed out, akin to Blair Riley against the Sheffield Steelers in all those years ago at the SSE Arena, which was entertaining. Funny that you say about, you know, the Sheffield Steelers and their mentality of not turning up. It was only a few weeks ago before our game in Belfast that Aaron Fox said, we're trying to stick around to make sure that Belfast earns the title down the stretch. We've got them 3 times the next 6 games, and we want those games to matter. In those games, they conceded 11 goals, scored 2, and lost all 3 games. Superb. I love it. What I'm going to do is actually going to bring you mentioned his name there. We talked about the fact that he scored a goal against them on Saturday night. He got the assist on Nicholas Gay's goal on Sunday night. Please welcome Ben Freeman to your View from the Bridge. How you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing really well, mate. Doing really well. We're talking about this game. You're watching on the background. The fact that you a 4-0 win on Saturday, but this game, on this 4-1 game, Sheffield go ahead, and we've got the mentality to pull it back in. What is it on the bench? What is it that we have over the Sheffield Steelers that give us such a dominant win?
Yeah, I think it was just it's belief in our team and belief in our structure, and you know, it's a cohesive group. I don't think there was any panic, you know, within the locker room and on the bench. I think even they came out hot in the first period in both games. If anything, they dominated us the first 5-10 minutes of both first periods. But I don't think anyone in on the bench or in the locker room felt that, you know, we weren't going to win the game. So we felt confident the whole time.
And talk us through your goal on Saturday.
Yeah, it was amazing. Nice steal by Longer, 6'4", hiding behind a guy, stripped it to me and just made a really good play on that. And I was able to, you know, have just enough time to get off a good shot there. So it felt good.
Ben, we've talked over the last number of weeks about this period of the season, the business end, if you like, and it did feel the last number of weeks, it felt very transactional. You know, we've turned up, done the business, gone home. Did it feel like that for the boys too?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, it is a business, right? Like it is our job. So, you know, it maybe like, for example, on Saturday with the challenging travel, it definitely starts to feel more like a business in that sense. But I think there was some serious passion and intensity for us going into the weekend, knowing that how big of 2 games it was. So to come out with 4 points was massive, and it was a fun result, and it was fun couple games for us.
I'm glad to hear you saying it's fun too, because we've always, whilst it's a business, we've got to remember it's a game.
Yeah, and for sure.
We all started following this game or playing this game because we love the game.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I think there's a fine line between fun and business, right? Like being really focused, but if you're not having fun, you're probably not playing good hockey. So riding that line between, you know, having a ton of fun and hooting and hollering and being very focused, if you can mix those two together, you're come out with some good results.
Ben, it's been when you look at it from a personal point of view, obviously you came in just over a month ago, but you know, when you look at that, you haven't had much game time since for the last few weeks, but you get your opportunity in the biggest weekend of the year and you get a massive, massive goal. You certainly haven't done yourself any harm. You know, when you look at the fixtures on that weekend and coming out and getting the ice time that you did and earning that ice time, you must be really pleased from an individual side of things. But I talked about it just a few seconds ago. When you get, and I don't want to be disparaging here, but when you get your 4th line scoring a massive, massive goal like that, it gives everybody on the bench a full lift as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was actually sitting next to the coaches on the flight home on Sunday, and I said verbatim the same thing. When your fourth line can contribute and get some goals, I mean, it's got to be discouraging for the other team too, because if you can win that fourth line battle, you're probably going to come out with a good result. So, I mean, I know Longer's really good player, and we have guys filtering in from the first, second, and third line on the fourth line. So to be able to, contribute on the score sheet versus, whether it's just momentum or playing good defense, that also feels really, really good for us.
Those two games against Sheffield, you touched on it there a few minutes ago, that it was very similar. I think both games were very similar. They came out really strong in the first, but we managed the game really well, both offensively and defensively, when we needed to be a unit and control the game from our own end, and then basically transition and go forward. The boys must have been feeling good about themselves on the way back on the bus on Sunday night.
Yeah, definitely, it felt good. I think you said it right. I wouldn't say controlling the game, but we were controlling their chances. So we weren't giving them crazy, in the past 3 or 4 games, I think we've been giving them some different teams breakaways, 2-on-1s, unnecessary chances. And I think, with the exception of a couple pretty high-end grade A chances on Saturday, we held them to, perimeter shots. And so we controlled the game in that sense. But, Sheffield's a really good team, and, they didn't quit. They have a really fast group. So I think we definitely controlled their ability to, get to the inside of the ice.
You came in here a few weeks ago, Ben. You spent most of the season in Denmark with Frederikshavn, and that was your first move into Europe, into Denmark.
Yeah, the first time I've ever been to Europe, actually.
Wow. So, yeah. But what I was to say is, obviously with the Elite League and what the Elite League is and how the Elite League, obviously you've experienced playing under a man who gave us a lot of frustrating times here in Belfast, in Andrew Lord, when he brought you into Greenville and made you captain.
Yeah. I owe Lordo a lot of praise, and he's actually doing a great job in Ontario right now. I think they're first in that division, so it's cool to follow him and see his success. And it's not a surprise to see that, especially just his work ethic is great. And I even think Kiefer, called him for a contact reference about me. So he must have had some decent things to say if he ended up bringing me in here. So yeah.
Well, if he made you captain, I don't think you're going to get that bad of a reference. But obviously, hockey's a small place and a small business, and you encounter any other guys you sort of reached out to sort of think, I've got an opportunity to come to Belfast.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys are familiar with Miles Gendron.
Yes,
he was my roommate in college, and I was one of his groomsmen in his wedding. So when I heard about the Belfast opportunity, I texted him, and he said, go right now. Don't wait. What are you doing? So he had nothing but great things to say about the city. And, if you've ever seen Jackie's TikTok, she blew up the Belfast Giants. So between her and Miles, they had nothing but great things to say about Belfast. And as I played in the Friendship 4, I think it was 2018. So that was really cool. I got to experience the city a little bit and just play in the SSE, which was really cool.
Ben, obviously games come thick and fast, just the way fixtures have been this last lot of weeks. 2 against Cardiff, 2 against Sheffield, 2 against Nottingham coming up obviously this weekend. Home and home against the Glasgow Clan. It's going to be a short week. You get a day or two off and a bit of practice here and there, back and forth to Dundonald, but excited about the weekend to come?
Yeah, definitely. It's a really, once again, it's a good opportunity for us, and I don't think any of the guys are looking past Saturday. So we have our work cut out for us. Every team in this league is going to give us their best effort. We know that every night anything could happen. So we got to be at our best and have that same focus that we did this past weekend. This weekend.
I don't know, just sorry, Says just before you go there, Ben, just one quick off ice question, if you like. You've came into Belfast, the weather's starting to turn, the nights are on the turn as well. They're starting to get a bit, it's brighter, it's daylight still when you come out of the rink.
Yeah.
Have you made a good move? Belfast been a good spot?
Yeah, it's been good. We actually played some golf today. So that was fun.
It's a constant thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it rained for 3 or 4 holes, but then it was beautiful. But I've done a little bit of exploring the city, probably not as much as I should. But it seems really, really great, and we have a really good group of guys here too, which has been awesome.
Where was the golf today? Of course,
tell us about your golf today. Yeah, or Castle Rock.
Yeah, Castle Rock. It was good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the wind was going, but there's some really good golfers on this team, so it's tough keeping up with them. But it was fun. We had I think we had 12 guys go make the trip up there and had a good round. Some good bragging rights.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon plays off scratch. Patrick Grasso played off scratch as well. Kawaguchi's 5. There is some really good.
We should have time.
Bastie's about 4. I think Bastie will probably tell you he's about 7 or 8, but he's about a 3 or 4.
Yeah.
There's some really good golfers in this team for sure.
Yeah, I'm thoroughly impressed with their games for sure.
Of the game, we're looking forward to this weekend. You haven't made the trip to the Glasgow shopping centre yet, but you must be looking forward to playing in Braehead on Saturday or Sunday. Sorry, because this weekend, we've got a chance to win the league. If everything clicks into place, we could come back with a trophy on Sunday night.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And like I said, we still need to be focused one game at a time. Obviously, there's some standing checking going on, but you really try to stay focused, tunnel vision on even just practice tomorrow. Focus on one day at a time, one shift at a time, one period at a time, and not try to get ahead of ourselves.
Well, listen, Ben, we really do appreciate you coming and joining us. Welcome to the Belfast Giants. You're in for a ride to get, hopefully, for the title in the next couple of weeks. Fingers crossed, all going well. And good luck this weekend.
Thank you, guys. It's my pleasure.
Good, Ben.
Great to have Ben join us, and great to see his goal. We'll sum up the news in regards to the Belfast Giants finishing that weekend with 4 points against the Sheffield Steelers, and you can get all those highlights on YouTube. They are very entertaining and well worth watching. That was Belfast Giants taking 5 wins out of the 6 over the Sheffield Steelers this season. Right, next guest, one of our favourite people and an absolute legend of the Adelaide Adrenaline. Please welcome back to A View from the Bridge, Jonathan Boxill. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Yeah, I always used to love joking around, referring to the Australian League as the A, because obviously most of the guys I play with all play in the A, and then
played in the A.
But yeah, boys, we all play in the A.
Was it? Do you know when you played there? Was that the league that had like curtailed periods and like? Because was it not that they played or was that New Zealand where they played like a?
I think it was New Zealand. My one story about Australia that I love to tell was, hockey equipment in the UK is not. I mean, it's better now, but. It's really, really hard to come by in Australia, and we were playing a game, and one of our third, fourth liners, and you can imagine what a third, fourth liner in Australian league is like. He broke his steel on his skate, and they don't have spare spare anything, right? So I come into the changing room after the first period and he's there and they're trying to figure out what to do. And I'm not kidding you when I say this. He was genuinely considering playing the rest of the game with one player skate and one goalie skate because they had a third string goalie. And I was like, look, man, like I cannot allow this to happen. So yeah, it was good. It was good fun. It was a good time. But yeah, I saw him putting on a goalie skate. I was like, this cannot happen, unfortunately.
Do you know what? I'm fascinated by the idea of going there. It's because you see all the guys who are coming here from North America. It's basically have skates, will travel. You've got a talent that's giving you an opportunity. You played in North America, you played in the college system, you played in the school system, but you've got a talent that can take you places and go and do it. So why not go to Australia and play? I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, that especially with how demanding, especially when you're playing on a good team like in Belfast every night, it's basically you end up playing a year and a half, if not more, of just non-stop hockey. So you have to be ready for that. I mean, it's a delicate blend, right? Like where you want to skate and you want to stay, but you do need, especially when you get a bit older. So yeah, if you're coming towards the end of the career and you think it's kind of the last thing, I encourage it. But if you're going to do it, you have to be young because it is a grind. But no, it was fun. It was good, and good memories. And yeah, playing in the A, like all the I remember Nickerson used to like that one. When I'd be like, please play it. Especially when it was like new in the year when you didn't really know people, and they'd be like, this guy didn't play in the A. What's he talking about?
Boxy, we're all getting the age now where we can all ask the same question. How's the family? How are you getting on, mate?
We're good. Ophelia has her first. She has her first tournament this weekend, so
wow,
it's so she's good. We're coming to the tail end of the hockey season, which we're looking forward to, and we're going to do new things like t-ball and lacrosse and all that fun stuff. But I keep bringing up old names, but they're all relevant. So Smotherman, he's coaching the Boston Fleet women's team. And I still speak to Smo occasionally, but I'm actually they're doing a day game and bringing in all sort of the youth teams. So I think I'm going to take Ophelia to the game on Sunday, and then he's going to bring her down to the change room because the most of the USA women's team play for that team. So it'll be a really cool experience for the girls to meet, the girl who scored the golden goal and stuff like that. So it'll be nice to see Smo and, obviously good to be catch up and get a cool experience for the girls. But the girls are good. Thank you for asking.
We've kind of talked on the podcast over a number of seasons, especially with the friendship series with the women's teams coming to Belfast. And I guess because we're all dads of girls as well, we're very passionate about ladies sport. And that's one thing that I always say on here: if you can't see it, you can't be it. So for the wee girl to be able to go down and meet people that she can see on TV or read about in magazines, it's really, really massive.
100%. Yeah, no, it's funny. I find myself now, like if I'm watching Nessum, which is kind of the local, you guys know, it's like the local sort of sports thing, and they have all the college sports on. If there's depending upon the game, but if it's, no disrespect, if it's like UVM versus, I don't know, a sort of a, mid to lower team men's, and then you've got BU versus BC women's, I will watch the BU BC women's and I'll put it on so the girls can watch. I know, Sis, when you were doing the Friendship for Women's, you gave the girls a shout out, so we watched it. But to your point, yeah, it's like, they see it, they you know what I mean, then they can see that there's a path forward, because it is amazing how far women's sports have progressed. So it's all good.
Boxy, I'll tell the boys that you sent me a video of Adelaide, no, Ophelia, on our back check on Saturday night. Was it Saturday or Friday or Saturday night? Just to chip off the old block from the Boxill that used to play for Belfast, and she's on her last video she sent with the Belfast Giants jersey and stuff on. She looks like she's really enjoying it as well.
Yeah, it's the most important thing, which is good. But it's funny, I sent it to, I keep bringing up old names, but I was talking to Mike Raja today because we were laughing about the fact that 11 years ago tomorrow it was my first, and his obviously only played the 1 year. We did St. Patrick's Day, and he runs a youth program in upstate New York. So he was asking how the girls are doing, and I sent him a video of Ophelia, and she got called up to try out for the older team, and she gets the puck and. She basically got stripped, but he's convinced that she dumped it. And like she dumped the puck, and she was like, "Well, playing like a dad already, dumping the puck in." So, but no, it's good, and they enjoy it. So it's always nice to get them out there. And there, believe it or not, there's a guy in Winthrop where they go to skate who's from Belfast, and he actually used to work at the Odyssey. So he saw me carrying the bag. Yeah, small world, and he's married a girl from Winthrop, and yeah, he was. Yeah, he said, "What about you?" and all that sort of stuff. So anytime I see him, it's sort of always good to. But what's going on in the land of the Giants? Life is good. I was texting with Kiefer, and I almost put money on the board for the game on Sunday, but frugal me just came over and I said, yeah, they'll get it done. I know I can't be bleeding money right now. So, but no, it was good weekend for sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, we were just talking to big Ben Freeman there about the weekend, and you know how hard it is to win this championship. That's a grind, the whole 54 games of the season, and we've got a really good chance this weekend if everything clicks into place. Another X team of years and Nottingham Panthers. We're hoping Nottingham lose to Sheffield at least one game this weekend, and we win both, and we can win the league on Sunday night in Glasgow. But as an ex-player, would you rather win it at home or would you rather win it away?
I personally think, winning is, I won it in a hotel lobby, right? So.
It was 2019 was in the lobby.
Yeah. We'll start with winning it on the ice. I don't know. You just want to win. Obviously winning at home, you see some of these videos of like the Challenge Cups and all that sort of stuff. that looks unreal. I don't know. I think winning at home would be great, but I think we can all agree winning it anywhere is good. But hopefully, I think we can all agree you want to win it. You want to win it as early as possible, so you can almost start pivoting mindsets towards the playoffs and going for that. But fingers crossed.
We're always looking at when this group of players that we've had in this year, and again with the turnaround of players every year, we're the likelihood is we're going to have 10 new players at least next year. Same as last year, same as the year before, same every year. But there's not many have been a massive advocate as big as you of Belfast over the years. And we love it when you play it here. We love it as even when you only come back for 4 games and 21, 22 when we were down to the bare bones and it didn't, in fairness, that conversation didn't take much to get the skates dusted off for you and get you over. But these guys need to realize how good they are and how important it is to basically have that type of mentality, because Belfast is a really good spot to play hockey. And again, from your side of things, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that how much fun you had in Belfast.
Yeah, look, and Laura and I talk about this a lot, right? Like when you're in it, you're very sort of self-aware that you're lucky to play golf and go to concerts and live in a nice apartment and have a nice car and obviously winning championships in the environment. But as we've discussed on here, right, it's not until you're done playing and you think about all the friendships and the experiences. And it's interesting, right? Like even those 4 games that you mentioned, I was texting with Kiefer about it. You never want to be the in my day kind of guy, but that guy Ben, and speaking with those guys when I was back a few weeks ago, obviously for Blake's funeral, it's very easy to get into that mindset that it is a grind and stuff like that. But it is a privilege to just play any pro sport, but to play in Belfast, and you see the impact it has, and you speak to guys, and I've listed off 4 people that I played, and I haven't seen Mike Radger since almost 11 years, but I still speak to him all the time. We care about each other. We would do anything for one another, and those relationships come from playing in an organization like that. And I was texting with Kiefer yesterday after the game, and obviously, I think it's important for him to acknowledge, and there's a lot of other people that are involved in it. Says you got everyone on this is sort of part of the culture and the thing within the organization, but it is a very special culture, and I think that's what, when you come in as a new player and you've obviously got returning guys and you just kind of ingratiate yourself into what it is to play in Belfast. And we all know, the impact it has on the city and for everybody. But I think for a lot of guys, even Pat Dwyer, right? Like he's coaching in the American League, in the NHL now as an assistant, but like I'm hopefully going to see him for dinner when he's in Boston in a couple of weeks. But every time he's in town, like he still speaks around how much of a special year that was for him and the impact it had on his family and how glowing his experience was. So it's a very, very, very special place that we all, some guys get it very quickly, some guys take a week, some guys get a month, but they do figure it out at some point, and then they realize how important it is to show up every night. And also it's the extra stuff, right? Like you might not get paid for it, but it's doing the stuff in the community and making time for people whether it's in a bar or, these, sponsorship events, like it does mean more than just putting your skates on and going to practice once a day and playing a game and going back to your apartment. So yeah, it's all good stuff.
Do you miss the weather?
I mean, what's funny?
Look! Like the last time he was on, he was like Vegas, and it was the beautiful. I wasn't time for that, but Vegas and the beautiful weather. Where are you now, Boxy?
You missed me by a week. I'm in Vegas next week. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm in Scottsdale, Arizona right now.
Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yeah.
Not. It's not time for the golf. That's in January.
No, it's funny. So I'm at a conference, and one of the options was to play golf this afternoon, but I couldn't find the option. Yeah,
you took the option to come on the biggest podcast.
That's it. I couldn't miss it.
How could you turn that down?
Exactly.
Give us a bit of insight, please, Boxy, because obviously the Belfast Giants are currently in a very, very strong position. We've 16 points to play for, but 6 points will win the Elite League title. So the confidence in the room is no doubt high. What's it like to be in a room like that where well, obviously it was maybe a bit different because you won it in the lobby, as you say, but you knew you were a good team, you knew you were in a battle, you knew you're going up against teams where you were probably a better side and you're chasing the title. What's it like to be in that room?
I think there's a lot of excitement associated to it, right? Like you can kind of sense the fact that you're getting close. I mean, I know, and I spoke to him about it last night, I kind of know what Kiefer's message will be, and you hope that the good wins and the guys that have done it, the pick and itch and the people that have been through it, like you just have to dial in. There's no other way to put it. Like I'm not even going to put the bad juju and the energy of, the other side of the coin, but it's like, yes, you just want to just dial in. Like you've come this far. I know what those guys have been through, right? It's a long year, right? It's a grind. These guys have played a lot of games. There's a lot of ups and downs. There's been a lot of ups this year, but I'm sure I'm not in that room, but like there's probably been some downs at certain points. And it's just like, you've come this far, finish the job, right? So I would imagine that's probably what's being discussed, but I think, that's a reason why retaining and bringing back guys, even if it's that they've gone away and played in other leagues or maybe played in other teams, but like that's why having such a strong core, and I know Cooper was obviously a great captain, but the good wins, the pick and itch, the Conways, the guys that have done it, like they will make sure that other guys, because it's hard, right? Like, it's the story old as time with the Elite League, and the fact that winning the league is not the norm for a lot of guys, and it takes a while to figure that out. But when you have guys that lead from the front, explain why a game in Dundee or in Fife or wherever it is in, November is just as important as the game they're going to play this weekend, that's what you work towards throughout the season. So I would imagine there's a level of excitement, but you don't, there's no point in changing anything at this point, right? Like you've come this far, the system is what it is. That's another thing I was talking to Keith about last night, is now that Nielsen, Corey's left, is the system change, and maybe he won't mind me saying this, but he was like, we care about the system and that's going to be part of it, but he's like, we just have to play to our strengths, right? Like he's like, I'm not going to go in there and change everything, and we know what wins. They proved it this weekend, and hopefully they can do it again this weekend.
It's interesting seeing some of the responses from Sheffield Steelers fans at the weekend, especially the amount of Steelers fans that basically said, we wish Adam Keefe would just go away. We've had enough. In fact, one guy I saw on social media said Sheffield should be throwing everything to get Adam Keefe to Sheffield. But what you have there is, should this go the way that we all hope it will, undisputed, one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach to ever coach in the Elite League.
Yeah, I mean, I sent him a message yesterday and just kind of told him, like, as someone who played with him and played for him, like, and I said, a lot of people said this to him with a couple of drinks in them at the testimonial and stuff like that. But like, I think we're all going to speak for it. Like, you're just very proud of him, right? Like, as a friend, as a teammate, like, just not surprised given the way he played, and obviously those years I had him as a coach. But like, it's just something you're very proud to see someone who's been able to achieve what he's done. And the culture and what he's put together with the assistance of Steve and Robert and everyone within the trust. It's like, as we've discussed you before, Simon, like, genuinely proud to speak about the Belfast Giants when I'm in America and I played there, and a lot of guys feel that same way. So regarding Kiefer, it's not a surprise. It's kind of how he is. But yeah, just truly impressed and proud of what he's achieved in his coaching career so far.
Boxy, how does he keep doing it year after year and staying fresh. And like, there's so many people have came and gone up against him, and occasionally to win, but more often than not, in the last 7 or 8 years that Adam's been behind the bench, it's been successful for the Belfast Giants.
I think a part of it is you first of all have to respect how he played, right? Like, just go on YouTube and see him, you know, competing and squaring off with Bordelows and all these guys, and never once was it, you know, what. Obviously, fighting has changed a little bit in the game, but like every single time he was fighting, it was for the team, and he's never doing it to kind of help himself and support him getting a contract for the next year. He was doing it for the greatest good of the team. I think that's a factor that you realize everything this guy's saying he did as a player. And I think it's the small stuff, right, that maybe doesn't get the accolades that it deserves. But like every year there's something. I know there was a year ago where they had, you know, they were doing hikes before the season, and then they, you know, bringing in sort of stuff in the locker room that kind of has a bigger meaning than just, you know, the belt and stuff like that. I think he does a really good job of keeping a finger on the pulse of the room. It's obviously a different generation now than it was 10 years ago, and you have to kind of coach accordingly. But I think it's also worth noting that he obviously has a fantastic resource in his brother, but a lot of what he does is on his own back, right? Like investing in himself in the summer to go to these coaching clinics to, you know, better himself. And I think the most, not to say that Sheffield aren't doing this and other clubs, like it's not what I'm insinuating by any means, but like the time he puts in to, you know, watch video, to understand systems and stuff of that nature, and find the right type of guys, right? Like I think that's a big thing as well here, is you can be a good player, but are you the right type of player to fit into the room, to play in the culture, and you know, be an asset to the organization? So I think a lot of it comes down to that, but I think it just is who he is as a person, and that showed as a player and has shown as a coach that he really is. I mean, it's interesting you bring up the piece around going to Sheffield, right? I'm not saying that he couldn't emulate that and do that anywhere, but like he gets it, and I think that everybody realizes that he cares so much because he cares so much about the team, the city, and the organization that, as I said, I'm sure he could do that anywhere, but a lot of it comes from the fact that he understands what it means to win in this organization and the impact that it has on others. So I think that's part of it as well. But yeah, I mean, it's to your point around sort of best ever and dynasty, like he will go down without question. You look at the last 5-6 years and what he's achieved, it's genuinely. If someone would have said to you 6-7 years ago that this would be the audit list of success, you'd say,
nah.
You say, I mean, where do I sign? So yeah, no, it is truly impressive.
Let me just throw in a couple of numbers there, because it's just updating the stat sheet there. Our second most game coach, let's see, is probably Storts.
Yeah,
because he had 67, 100, well, around 200. Doug Christie's 186 games, Ed 175 games, Dave Whistle 179. Kiefer has now coached 561 games, and he's won 377 of them. It's quite incredible. He's a 67%, 4 elite leagues, 5 challenge cups, playoffs. What was that like? Did I say? Oh no, it's 6-7. For goodness sake. And he grew up.
I've got kids. Come on.
But you know, over 2,000 goals for, and very mean, 1,400 goals against. You know, he's just. It's just the level of consistency, and that doesn't include the hundreds of games that he played as well. He's well over 1,000 games for it. But it's just consistency to do it again, and potentially have another great season this season. And then he's probably already, and Simon will know this more than anybody being in the back office, he's probably big plans already for July, August, September coming forward. It's incredible.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is, right, like it's not, the bar raises, right? And I'm not going to expose too much here, but like things get harder and harder because getting play at the end of the day, it's a job, right? And you guys can read between the lines of what I'm saying, but like it gets harder and harder because that bar raises and salaries and competition and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, amazing.
Look, we all know about your bromance with Kiefer, but I want to, it's just, maybe I can't not say it. Jonathan, what about we photograph we put on the screen there with your good mate, Jamie Lee O'Donnell from Derry Girls?
Yeah, that was a similar situation. If someone would have said that to me in 2019 when we used to have Christine and the family over and Laura and we used to watch Derry Girls, I'd say there's not a chance. But yeah, she was really, really nice. She was very, very, very cool. And I did make a couple of jokes, which I didn't think she got, which was like they chose the wrong guy to bring you out here because out of everybody who's in that locker room, I'm the different A that I'm playing from. But no, she was really, really nice, and that event was awesome. I think we can all agree that it couldn't have gone any better in every possible way. And yeah, she's just very, very down to earth. I think she wants to come back to a game. I was speaking to Laura that there's been some discussion that I think she lives in Barcelona, but yeah, yeah, good times.
The wee English fellow with a dairy guard. Boxy, look, again, we only bring you on for 5 minutes, but we could sit and talk to you all night, mate. And I don't know if the boys have anything else to add to it.
I've just got one way, and I don't want to end this on a set, but I can't let it pass and have you on without talking about it, because I switched on. How long ago was it now? I switched on the feed of the Belfast Giants, as a stream of the Belfast Giants, as I always do, and I was delighted to hear you in commentary. And then I realised why you were in commentary. Talk to us about Blakey.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard, right? Like thinking about, and what's interesting is like the last couple of weeks and speaking with Laura, and staying close to Andy and Christine. He's just a very, very special and inspiring person. And yeah, just you look back on pictures and realize how young he was when you met him. And, you know, he came in as a very small child and, you know, yeah, so it was hard, but it was nice to come back and be with people, obviously not for the best reasons, but, just a very, very special and inspiring person. And I think it's important. And I'm really, really happy to hear that Christine and Andy, I still text with them. I try to make a mental note to check in on them at least once a week. And I know they've been coming to more games, but even the way that the organization handled that and the presence at the funeral and what they put up in the tunnel, not surprised, right? Like those are things that are just kind of part and parcel of how special the club is. But yeah, no, Blake was very inspiring, I think is the right word to describe him and how he lived his life and all the adversity that he overcame. But hopefully, you know, a trophy and you know, involving him in some way with that this year would be kind of a, you know, a very, very fitting thing. So yeah, it was something that we felt very compelled to be there for. But yeah, just very, very lucky to have known him and been as close to him and his family, and continues to be as close to his family as we are now. So yeah, just hard to talk about.
He would have absolutely loved this weekend. He would have been over the moon getting 4 points against Sheffield. And, you know, obviously it's a family-friendly show, so I can't say what Blakey would have come out with, but I know he would have been. I know he would have been super, super pleased about that. But yeah, I think you're right, Boxy. You know, coming out with a league title and you know, never maybe a playoff trophy, but he will definitely be remembered when that happens. Hopefully in the next few weeks.
Absolutely, but pleasure as always, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Boxy, listen, always a pleasure having you on. You're a good lad. You're one of the friends of the show. We love hearing what you're up to. We love hearing about you connecting with all the old players. Give our best to Mike Raja, Bonner. You need to get Higgy. We need to get Higgy on here because Davey wants to have a good chat with him as well. So we need to get Higgy and have a bit of a chat. But listen, love seeing you. Love to the family. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Love you, Boxy.
Love you guys. Take care.
Cheers, Boxy. Thanks, love.
Big thanks to Jonathan Boxill for coming on and joining us. I think he's just one of those, and one of the greats of the Belfast Giants, Davey.
Yeah, there's so many memories from different times that stick out, but my Boxy memory is the block shot in the Challenge Cup final with minutes to go. Sacrificing the body. Boxy will be the first to tell you he wasn't a top six forward, and that wasn't his role in the team. His role was to do those little dirty things. And it was huge in that moment. And then just a few minutes later, we'll go and score. And Says disappeared. The fastest I've ever seen Says move.
Down those stairs.
He's gone. He's climbing the plexiglass. It was brilliant, but just what a celebration. And I think that's 7 years ago. I seen somebody with Brooksy put a picture of us all up the other day. you, me, Sis, Jasmine, Joel, Sports,
with
Brooksy,
the
all
trophy.
Barzo,
7 years
Glover. Apologies if I can't remember exactly who I was in the picture. That was the gist of it.
I drove down with Neil the Coach Russell and Mark Hitchcock for that game.
All right,
It was,
okay.
that was some crack.
Oh, was that the Smo final?
Yeah.
Smo scored the winner. Was it? Yeah. And he hadn't came into the club very long. Was that was one of his very first games, wasn't it?
One of
He was there 5 weeks.
It wasn't there very long. Scores the overtime winner.
Yes.
Yep.
And Boxy come up with the big save, the big block that keeps us in the game minutes to go. So yeah, amazing, great memories. 7 years, man. But Boxy will just always mean an awful lot to an awful lot of people for an awful lot of reasons. And his little chat with us there. That's all you need to know about him.
I'd go back and forth him, at least once a week, and he's just a top lad. The two girls are doing really, really well, and we're hoping to get over in June for a few days. So I can't wait to see him. He's just he's as you say, Davey. He knew his role in the team. He's a massive advocate for Belfast, and I've never heard him say anything negative about Belfast ever. I mean, Belfast pisses us all off every once in a while, like for different reasons. But I've never heard him say anything negative about Belfast. And it was an absolute pleasure to watch him because, again, you knew what he brought to the team. He knew that he wasn't going to score 30 goals a season. You knew that he wasn't going to play 25 minutes a night. But you knew every single shift that Jonathan Boxill stepped on the ice that he was going to give 110%. Doesn't make a difference who he was against. He would get stuck in, and you just hear him, the way he talks about Adam, and some of that romance that he has with him, and it's just fantastic.
And it's just it shows you that we spoke to the Ben Freeman earlier about the sort of the connections with hockey. We talked about Andrew Lord, we talked about Miles Gendron and all of that, but Boxy there still connections with Paddy Dwyer, obviously with Cal Bond, with Higgy, and then you hear like Mike Raja, Smo. It's a small community. The hockey's a small community, and when you play for the same team and you win things with the team, you maintain that contact.
Well, if Ophelia plays on the same team as Higgy's wee boy, so they're basically see each other and skate each other every week, and they're the Massachusetts area. While it's the States is huge, but there's an awful lot of ex-Belfast Giants around that area. I mean, when we were out there, so we're 2 years ago now, for God's sake. But we went for lunch. Higgy was there, Saviano, Boxy. We've seen Matt Nickerson come up and said hello. There was there was others as well.
Spiro's out that direction, isn't he?
No, Spiro's in Montreal now. Kyle Bond,
King of East Belfast.
Kyle Bond, so you see all these guys that you're very fond memories of from their time in Belfast. I mean, even we Saviano, what Saviano when he came here for the hospice hockey, he could have played this year.
He was brilliant. He was brilliant.
He could have done a job this year for the Belfast Giants for sure. It's great to have all these ex-players and still stay in contact with them and reach out to him every once in a while. But it's we're very, very lucky, and over the 26 years, David just brought up there about Adam, and David, you had said about Adam being the best coach for the elite league in 26 years. He's the most successful coach for the elite league in its era, and hopefully we can hold on to him for a long, long time because he wears his heart on his sleeve. He says exactly what he's thinking, and he's brought this club a hell of a lot of success, both as a player and a coach.
It was funny just seeing there was one guy who was going, it's a disgrace that Sheffield should be throwing money at Adam Keefe to bring him here. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he want to be there? Why wouldn't he? Tell you why. We're winning things. I love that.
I don't think it's anything to do with winning, to be honest with you. It's to do with his connection to the city. And,
100%.
I'm sure and certain, and Simon will know again, we'll know what's going to You're telling me the success Adam Keefe has had over the last 7-8 years in Belfast, that nobody's knocked his door and said, come and work for us? There's reasons why he's still in Belfast, and one of them, he loves this city as much as this city loves him.
And you say there about
what?
Is that a question?
No, but you can make it into one.
No comment.
Oh, no. Not a question as in, has anybody come knocking on the door, but a question as in, do you agree with me that Adam loves this city? This city loves him?
Absolutely. You know, but again, you know, at the end of the day, it's, you know, like you talk about Andrew Lord, you know, being success. He's now coaching the AHL. I think Adam can coach in the AHL. Yeah, absolutely, I do. You know, but
I want him to.
No, I don't want him to. Do you know what? That's not necessarily true. I'd love to see him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm being
facetious. Get the opportunity, and you know, it's got to be the right opportunity for him and the family. And but you know, could he play in the NHL? Sorry, could he coach in the NHL? Like, you have success and you have a blueprint of which way you want to do things, and there's not a team in this elite league that wouldn't take Adam Keefe in the morning if he became available. But thankfully, he's not available. He's a Belfast Giants coach because he's just we love him. We absolutely love him. He's a pain in the arse sometimes. Make no mistake about it. You know, even last night when the or not last night, sorry, Sunday night. You know, basically we had he straight on the phone to us and we're sitting chatting away to him about different things and you know, it's just. We're very, very lucky, very, very lucky, and that's look. Let me tell you something. Adam's a massive, massive part of that, but it's not just Adam. You know, the players and the coaching staff, and Jeff Mason, and you know, Stewie, George, everybody behind the scenes. The fans are playing a massive part in this as well. So we're very, very lucky that we have the organisation that we do, and it just happens to be that Adam Keefe's the head honcho, and yeah, long may it continue.
Can't let you go with all that without mentioning your old mate Pat either, mate. Big part
Absolutely.
of it.
100%, everybody.
Yep.
All part of it. And just lastly, you saw from his testimonial, I know a bit of Adam Keefe loving, but why not? But you saw from his testimonial last year, not just from the crowds that were there and the fun that was had, but the players that came over to be part of it, both high profile and high profile players from the game, plus his brother, his family, his mom, dad, sister, everybody involved in that, because we all wanted to celebrate what Adam Keefe brings to the Belfast Giants and retire his shirt and give him and show him what he means to this organization and to the fans and that's like the three of us, you know, and it was great that we have had that opportunity and that he's still with it and still able to show what he's able to do, because the Belfast Giants now, as I said when Boxy was on, have a maximum requirement of 6 points out of the 16 available to lift the Elite League title. That will continue this weekend. Not from what you see beside me here, because I've not updated that last slide, which has really just annoyed me, that says that we've got 2 games of Sheffield Steelers. Shows you where my head was today. We do have 2 games this weekend against the same opposition. It is home and away to the Glasgow Clan. 7 p.m. on Saturday at home to the Glasgow Clan, and then away at 4 p.m. in the Braehead Arena against the Clan. There is a permutation that should the Nottingham Panthers drop 2 points in there, they've got 2 games against the Sheffield Steelers this weekend. Should the Nottingham Panthers drop 2 points and we win both of those games, the Belfast Giants will be crowned Elite League champions on Sunday. But if as I say, it's a maximum points of 6 currently from the 16 available for the Giants to lift the title. The Glasgow Clan sitting in 8th, Davy, but still, they will not want the Belfast Giants going into their place, and should they be in a position to lift the trophy?
No, you've seen over a number of years people going into Coventry, trying to go and it looked for a while there that we might have to go to Coventry at the end of the season to try and pull the title. I'd like to hope that we've got more chances in the next 8 games to do it than leave it to them, but teams don't want you to win trophies on their ice, and will be exactly the same. And so, the last time I think we were in Glasgow might have been New Year's Eve, 2-1, tight game. So they're nobody's fools either. They've obviously had a change of coach since then, but as you say, let's not worry about Saturday night until Friday, or it's Saturday, Sunday, can't remember what day. Saturday, Sunday, I think it is.
Saturday, Sunday.
Let's worry about get all the old cliches out. If we worry about ourselves, we'll just take care of our own business, and then whatever happens in Sheffield and Nottingham happens, and we'll just have to be ready to pounce if the opportunity's there.
And that's it. Obviously, if the Nottingham Panthers take 2 wins this weekend and the Giants take 2 wins, then we bring it back home for the double header weekend against the Nottingham Panthers, which I think to win it in front of the Nottingham Panthers what would David's preference be? I think it might be that. Would it be, David?
It's one of those, Paddy.
Anyway, it's all.
You, me, and Coach PV's Neil, Coach Russell have spoke about
it's not one that's one.
Different opinions on when this league was won, and I have strongly of the opinion that this league has not been won yet. And I'd like it to be done as quickly as I can. Selfishly, I'll be able to get home next weekend. Lily's got both teams hockey this weekend, so I can't travel this weekend. So the Glasgow. So I'd just had an absolutely amazing weekend in Sheffield there with Pat and the boys, and I would really love to be able to go to Glasgow. But if it so is that the Giants win it, I'll be more than happy. And if it goes on to the next weekend, I'll also be happy. So I might just happy.
Simon, with these games, obviously the game at home against the Glasgow Clan and then the doubleheader weekend against Nottingham Panthers, I assume there's probably barely a ticket in the building.
There's barely a ticket in the building for the next 3 games. So 21st, 27th, 28th. The 4th of April is nearly sold out as well. The 1st of April, which is the Wednesday night, that's a week off. First week of Easter, so the likelihood is we'll be selling out every game between now and the end of the season.
Brilliant, and that's the way it should be. Should the Belfast Giants complete this league season by retaining the Elite League, it'll be a few weeks of hopefully a few weeks of celebration. One last thing I want to do before we go, gentlemen, is I want your pick for the Challenge Cup winners between the Coventry Blaze and Nottingham Panthers. I don't think I need to ask David. The Coventry Blaze, it's like. No, in saying that, your hatred used to be peak for both teams.
I honestly, Paddy,
couldn't care less.
You couldn't be more right.
Let me guess, Simon. Couldn't care less.
Do you know what? I'd really like to see Coventry win.
This is
given the scenario, yes.
Given that Max Stewart's there, I can live with that.
Mismatch, Max Stewart, Elijah Barriga. I really like Kevin Moore. I think he's a real good lad. I like Danny Stewart as well. He's been on a number of times as well and give us a lot of time. But I'd really like to see Coventry win this weekend. I mean, I've seen how good they were against us, and it's only a one-off game. But it just comes down to I'm not that fussed. I mean, I will watch it. I will watch it tomorrow night. But
text me and let me know how it goes.
Will do. You'll be watching it as well.
I'm not if it's some BBC, Paddy.
If it was playing in his back garden, he'd pull the curtains.
He would. He's not talking. He'll be watching it.
I can guarantee you with all my heart, unless this is being free under my wall, I'll not be watching it.
You'll be watching.
Not a chance. I have no interest. Honestly.
I do agree with you, gents. Like I think, given all that's happened the last couple of weeks regards to the location and blah 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 blah. The Coventry Blaze, I think, would be nice to see just a new name on the trophy for the first time in 11 years has it been since they won the playoffs under Chuck Webber. Wow. That's not to take it away from Danny Stewart and Omar Pasha and the lads we know there who they won the playoffs, they won the Continental Cup, they'll be thirsty for another cup, and I think that's a real opportunity for them. So that game will be live. It's live on Elite League, EIHL TV, and on Premier Sports if you have it. So you'll be able to tune in and watch the Challenge Cup final on Wednesday night. Any other business, boys?
No.
Retro night? Is that retro night this weekend?
I don't know. No, it's not. I think it's next weekend, isn't it?
Is it next weekend?
No, I don't think it's this weekend.
Actually,
I do have a point. What are you making of the referee shirts for retro?
They look like they've been left in a room where somebody's been smoking 20 Regals solidly.
Yeah, they're awful.
Just like they're going through 3 packs.
There are other cigarette brands available, but I honestly, I know we've had the problems with my eyes over the last couple of years, but when I seen them at the game last weekend at home, I had to take a double take and going, what is happening here? I genuinely thought I was seeing things, but they're awful looking.
I don't like them.
There's the old beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I really like them.
Do you?
Well, as much as you can like a referee, but no. Team stripes. I actually thought they were all right. There you go. That was interesting.
I'm just saying I'm trying to remember what the what is it, the 2018-19 shirt that we're going for Retro Night?
Yes.
Which doesn't feel too
BC before COVID.
Doesn't feel too bad, but who would that be? Darcy Murphy, 18-19?
Darcy Murphy, Blair Riley doing it this one.
Carbon. Yeah, we won the league that year.
Oh, Cameron McFall
won the league that year. Yes.
That's the year of what we were just talking about, of winning it in the lobby. 2018, 2019.
Oh,
and they're coming down to Cardiff Devils, going to that final game against the Coventry Blaze in Coventry.
That's the thing about that year too. We probably had gone the probably at the hotel, probably gone to that dinner thinking it's been a good season, but disappointed that we finished second. Not expecting really, hoping of course, but not really expecting that result would come through for us, and it did. Man, I ran around the park at that.
I remember that when I was jumping up and down, and we living over in Chorlton. I was jumping up and down on our driveway, and the next door neighbour came looking over the fence. Thought something was really wrong.
Was that the year? Was that the year that we our number one fan Ross Manley run along the beach and fell?
Yes,
was that year?
Was that cool? Yeah.
Did you see Roscoe Bosco in with the Prime Minister and all that?
The Prime Minister.
He's absolutely magic.
They're interviewing Keir Starmer on the TV about international politics, and Roscoe's in the background.
Belfast Giants.
He sent me a photograph of it. I thought it was brilliant. He's unbelievable. He gets in everywhere.
I was just looking at the 2018-19 lineup: Darcy Murphy, Cal Bond, Blair Riley, Paddy Dwyer, David Rutherford, Josh Roach. Josh Roach still here.
Hey, I'm going to keep going live. Go live, fine.
Dustin Johnner. Curtis Leonard, what a D-man he was.
Big Lanny, yeah.
The Belfast Datsuk, Jim Vandermeer, Jonathan Furland, Lewis Hook, Hunter Bishop probably didn't fulfill the potential he had. A good lad.
I think Hunter Bishop on paper, I know the game played on ice. For people that don't know this kid, I thought Hunter Bishop would have been one of the best players we ever signed, and it just didn't, for a myriad of reasons, didn't work out.
Kendall McFall, Jordan Smotherman,
number 27,
Mark Garside, Francis Beauvillier, the best player in his family, Colin Shields, Guillaume Jealous, Kevin Rain, Jonathan Boxill, Paul Swindlehurst, and for one game only. Anybody? British player, played for us before, still in the north.
Matt Toe.
Still where? I was thinking Scotland, up in North England there.
And our three goalkeepers on that year were
Dicko, Stephen Murphy, and
come on,
Dicko, Stephen Murphy.
It's not that difficult. Tyler Bescaroni.
Tyler, that's right. That's right.
Tyler Bescaroni.
It's only one player from the 1890s squad still in action.
Dicko as well.
Dicko, yes.
Dicko, two players. Dicko's still there. Josh Roach.
The following year, we got Laker and Longer.
That's right. Laker scored in the game when we were in the hotel.
Yeah. Great times. Right, let's wrap this. So that's it. Any boys, we're all done with any other business.
I'm done with it.
Yeah.
All right, then let's just wrap this thing up. The Belfast Giants, two games this weekend against the Glasgow Clan, 7 p.m. on Saturday at the SSE Arena. If you can't get a ticket to that, which it's tough to get them, but get them, you'll get that on Giants TV. And then over 4 o'clock at the Braehead Arena in the away game on Sunday, and you'll get that on Clan TV. Big thanks to Ben Freeman and to Boxy for coming on and joining us. And big thanks to you guys for tuning in. Good to see. What's that on there, Davey? Hold down there. Yeah, what's up there for Simon? You can get us on X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and all that sort of stuff. It's exciting. These times do not last forever for the Belfast Giants. You make the best of them when they're here. 4-point weekend over the Sheffield Steelers. 6 points required to win another Elite League title. Enjoy these times when they're here because they don't last forever. We look forward to coming back next weekend where hopefully we'll get somebody on from the Nottingham Panthers. I'm going to give Omar Pasha a shout and see if he'll come on. Well, I guess it'll all depend on what happens tomorrow night.
East Midlands hide and seek champion.
Yeah, with the Scarlet Pimpernel. Used to first time I met him, he moaned that when he was in Hull, we never had him on, and now we can't get him. You know what I mean? So
big deal. He's watching, but so high Pash.
Big shout to Omar Pasha. Come on and join us next week, mate. I'll give you a call. And on that note, wherever you're watching this hockey this weekend, we hope you enjoy it, and we'll catch you here next time on A View from the Bridge.